Hey guys, welcome to episode 13 of Wickedly Weird with Jerry and Amanda. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Amanda.
It's the same thing every week. I swear it is.
What do
It
you
never
mean?
changes.
What do you want me to say?
I mean, you used to say Amanda occasionally, so you,
Amanda,
you
I
have
could
done
be
that
the
a few
man.
times.
I don't. You call me the eyebrows. Like, with my
Yeah,
eyebrows over
I
the
noticed.
ceiling.
I noticed you got your hair all pulled up and stuff. And
It's hot as f in my house.
oh, look at you with the language control. I'm impressed.
I'm trying to focus my anger into a better place. It's really. You're lucky because today was rough.
Well, we'll talk about it after this episode because I think you're going to like this one, and you may have some knowledge of this story, but I don't know that you'll know all the details.
Wait,
So,
pause. Remind me to tell you about
yes,
the zombie that I saw today.
a zombie.
I saw one in real life. I had to pump gas and I cut the gas pumping short because he freaked me the fuck out. I was all set. I was done. I was like, oh, this isn't gonna be a good day. And it was really foggy here today. And he came from the fog and he was making zombie moves. And he was so white. He was so white. He was the whitest person I've ever seen in my whole life. You could see him from space. And he's coming down the street. He's like walking all
I
zombie
like how
like.
you say. I like how
And
you say. Remind me to tell you the story, and then you go on to tell the story.
oh yeah. It's okay. Listen. So anyways, he's coming. It's gonna be really, it's almost over. And he's like, and I was like, oh, and so like he walked past a bunch of kids. He didn't eat them. So I'm like, all right,
That's
it's
a
not,
bonus, yeah.
he's not fully turned. And so like I pump my gas real quick and I like wrap it up. And my hair on the back of my neck was standing up. I said, this guy is up to no good. But he was like hunched over, kind of like a zombie, and he walks like a zombie. And he was he was just so white and bald and short and just he was
That sounds a lot like me.
it wasn't you. This was not you. Dude, I'm not even kidding. He was like hunched over like and that's what he was doing. And I was just like, oh no, no, not today. I'm not feeling this today. And I got in my car and I left.
It sounds like somebody that had a medical condition, and I feel bad that you
No,
thought
I don't
thought
know.
bad of him.
He didn't. First of all, do not paint me to be the villain here. He was so scary. All right. If you saw what I saw, you would be like, Tracy, get in the car now. Because that was the vibe he was given. I didn't have that. I had some guy with a midlife crisis car in front of me. I'm like, he's not going to save me. So I had to cut it short. I was, I was having a fucking heart attack this morning.
I don't even know if this story is going to be able to hold up to what you just told. We might just need to keep going with that. Well,
And he came
let
from the
me
fog. Okay, go ahead.
let me ask you a question. Do
Oh
you
no.
believe in reincarnation?
Yep. Are
I
you
thought there'd be
expecting me
more
to
to that
say
than
no?
I,
Yeah, well,
I
no,
just thought there'd be more to it than
like,
yep.
yep. Stop. No, you can't get me on a giggle roll. It's not going to stop. Let's go.
All right. So let's go to May of 2000. We're going to Lafayette, Louisiana. Andrea, I'm gonna screw this name up probably. Andrea Leininger.
Ooh.
She is awakened by screams of her 2-year-old son.
Oh
She
God. Wait,
rushes.
pause. Is this going to be child death involved? Do we need to put
No, no,
a
no, no,
Oh, all right.
no,
Okay.
no, no,
Moving forward.
no. So she's got her 2-year-old son. He's screaming his head off. She rushes into the room. He's laying on his back, and he's kicking his feet. He's flailing his arms up in the air. His fists are clenched,
His fins.
and he's screaming at the top of his lungs. So just think of almost like you're having a temper tantrum.
Oh, so he was like a little starfish.
I've never seen a starfish do that.
Oh, you just did.
So she's trying to calm him down, but she couldn't. He eventually just kind of wore himself out and he fell back asleep. She assumes that it was a nightmare, but the real nightmare was just getting started.
Bum bum bum.
The next night, the exact same thing happened. Now, this started to happen basically every night.
Wait,
It
of
was
him
so
being a starfish?
the starfish do not do that. But yes, the same thing with him flailing and stuff.
How do
If
you
I saw a
know?
star, because I see starfish and I always just lay
When?
there.
When do you examine one? What do you don't even know what it does in the shadows. It could be doing anything.
You're screwing my story up.
Okay, I'm done. Go ahead. Moving
All right.
forward.
So this is happening every night. And she said that it was so repetitive that it became one of the most documented cases of possible reincarnation in
I
history.
have never heard of this story.
I haven't told you enough for you to be able to know the story.
Yeah, but I think that would pretty much be like, what? Go ahead.
No, because I did a lot of research on this one. Most of the time when you hear this story, it's like a paragraph.
Oh,
And
okay.
but I haven't given you the gist of it yet.
Okay.
Her son's 23 years old today, by the way.
Okay, good. Perfect.
So there were some interviews done with him back when he was about 12 years old. And overall, he was an average preteen boy at the time. He was into sports and playing guitar, and he liked to just hang out with his friends and stuff like that. Pretty normal. That's because almost everything by that point had kind of went away. So now I'm going to tell you everything that happened up to that point.
Okie doke.
While other kids his age wanted to be police or a doctor or a fireman, James wanted to be a fighter pilot. He had very good reasons. James may just have been a reincarnated Navy pilot who died in 1945.
Oh.
So, how did all this get started? Well, let's go back to the nightmares that we were talking about. When James got to be where he could talk when he was closer to 3 years old, he started telling his parents, and I'm going to say it as a child would. He would say, airplane crash, on fire. Little man can't get out of airplane crash. You know this? Are you starting to ring a bell?
Yes, it is, sir.
Well, I'm gonna give you probably more details than you've ever heard on the story. So
Ooh.
he would repeat this over and over, and his mom was like, "Oh my God, this is what he's been dreaming about.
Hmm.
It's making sense." His father, Bruce, said that when the nightmares would happen, the boy in his bed would look like a scene out of The Exorcist. His father felt like that his son may actually be possessed. That was the first thing that came to their mind.
Oh.
Soon these images in the nightmare would start to appear during the day. So one day Andrea is reading to James. James sits up and he said, "Mom, the little man is going like this." And he laid down on his back and he did the same kicking and punching up and stuff like that he did during his nightmares. He said, "Little man can't get out." And Andrea, she sits him back up and said, "Who is this little man?" And he said, "Me." So Bruce asked him, "What happened?" And James said that the plane crashed and was on fire. So Bruce asked, "Well, why did the plane crash?" And the boy responded by saying, "It got shot."
Ooh.
Keep in mind, this kid's barely 3,
And he's just saying it like clear as day.
saying it. So Bruce
Wow.
then asked, "Well, who shot your plane?" And James said it was the Japanese. This kid didn't know anything about Japanese or war or any of that
Nothing.
stuff. Like I said, 3-year-old kid, barely. All
Yeah,
right.
that's
So
wild.
that was nothing, though, compared to the specifics that he was going to start giving next. He said that his plane took off from a boat. Obviously, it was an aircraft carrier. When his dad asked if the boat had a name, he said Natoma.
Hmm.
Bruce had never heard that word before. So he did some research on the internet. It wasn't easy, but right around 300 articles down, he found one article that mentioned an aircraft carrier during World War II called the Natoma.
Wow.
It's called this because it was in Natoma Bay, which I guess is over in Japan.
Mm.
There was even a picture of the boat with the name written on there.
That's crazy.
The family was absolutely flabbergasted. How in the world could this 3-year-old know the name of a ship from 55 years ago? So Bruce
Ugh.
spent the next 2 years completely researching this account. He learned about the men that were on board the Natoma. Some of them were living, and unfortunately, some of them, being so many years later, were dead already.
Hmm.
James kept giving his parents, though, even more information. When he was asked what his name was, he responded with James. So they thought, well, maybe he's just confused and he thinks we're asking what his name is now because that's his name. But he insisted that his name was James in his previous life as well.
What? That's crazy.
Well, then he started drawing pictures of planes on fire.
Oh, jeez.
In the picture, the plane had a star on it, and the other plane had a red circle on it.
Uh,
Exactly what you would have found in World War II. It's amazing that he would know that. He said the plane with the star on it was on fire, which was his plane. Here's the key here. He wrote on the picture, to Dad from James 3, the number 3. So one day at the breakfast table, James was playing with a toy plane. His mom was doing the dishes. He hits the toy plane and slams it to the table. And he tells his mom, I was a pilot. My airplane got shot down in the engine. It crashed in the water, and that's how I died. She said that he said it just matter of factly. No drama, no emotion, just like ho hum. It was by the age of 3 that James started to uh, actually talk about the fact that he was a pilot with attention to detail that astonished his family. One day he dragged a car seat into Bruce's office. He set up like a little cockpit at 3 years old, and he would play like a console and stuff. He put all this in and made him like a little cockpit full of toys. He's right next to his dad. All of a sudden, the door comes flying open, and James comes rolling out of the fake cockpit that he made. So Bruce is like, what'd you do, James? Did you fall out? And he said, no, my plane got shot and I bailed out.
Oh, wow.
The next breakthrough happened when Bruce was invited to the Natoma Bay Veterans Reunion. These were all the people that were on that aircraft carrier. He was able to ask about the men that were actually killed in the battle from that ship. And this actually solved the mystery of James 3. And we're going to take a quick sponsor break, and I'll be back to tell you about how that was solved. All right, Amanda. It turns out that there was only one man killed during the Battle of
And it
Iwo
was him.
Jima from that ship. His name was James M. Houston Jr. That would make this James the third.
Whoa.
So James M. Houston Jr. was a Navy pilot who died on March 3rd, 1945 at the age of 21 years old.
Oh, that's so
His plane
horrible.
was shot down over Chichijima. There are so many more details that we could have went into, but I chose not to do such a deep dive. But he talks about a plane called a Corsair, a type of plane.
Yeah.
And come to find out, James Houston did fly a plane called a Corsair on occasion. Eventually, the family made contact with James M. Houston's only surviving relative, which was his sister, Anne.
Oh, whoa.
She didn't know what to think about this little boy saying that he was actually her brother reincarnated.
Like, was she mad?
No. James asked her, though, for a painting. And she said her brother James would have been the only other person besides herself that knew this painting existed. It was a picture of Anne that was painted by their mother. It had been in the attic for over 50 years, but he knew about it.
He knew about it. Oh my God, that would have freaked me out.
Some other chilling facts from the case. James had 3 GI Joes. He named them Billy, Walter, and Leon, which are kind of weird names for a 3-year-old to name GI Joes.
They like his best friends or something.
Well, after he chose the names, his parents were like, well, how did you come up with those names? He says, because that's who met me when I got to heaven. Upon further research, 3 men in James Houston's squadron had died before him at other times. Billy Peeler, Walter Devlin, and Leon Connor.
That's wild. But wait.
I mean, how can you even dispute stuff when there's that many facts in there?
Right, but like, so wait. If you're reincarnated, it would make him this kid.
Right.
Right? So then, like, is he back from heaven? Like,
yes.
Okay. So
he's back and he's got memories of this previous life.
All right. So I'm right. Okay.
So here's the last part of the story. One day, Bruce was doing some yard work. And of course, little James is out there in the yard playing with him. Bruce looked at his son and he said, you know what? I just love you to bits. James said, I knew you would be a good daddy when I picked you.
Oh.
This kind of stunned Bruce a little bit. He was like, what? And James said, well, when I found you and mommy, I knew you would be good parents. So Bruce said, what do you mean when you found us? And James said, well, when you and mommy were in Hawaii, I saw you in a pink hotel. And that's exactly where his parents were staying when they decided that they wanted to have a baby.
Wow.
So, Amanda, how did they fix the issue with him having all these memories and the stress that it was causing a young child? Well, they went to Japan and they went to the area of water where the crash happened. And they actually did a memorial service. There's actually video of this. His mom said, you know, James Houston has been a huge part of your life for as long as you've been alive. But you have a whole new life as James Leininger to live. Yeah. It's time to say goodbye to James Houston. Little James started crying, and they said he cried for about 20 minutes, and he literally had everybody on the boat crying. He was so emotional. He was probably 5 or 6, I would say, in the video that I saw. I didn't see anything saying when it happened. Yeah. But he was 5 or 6. When they got back to shore, he was a completely different kid. The nightmares stopped and the memories started to fade. And today, even back when he was like 12, when I said they did some interviews, James doesn't remember anything specific about James Houston Jr.
That's wild.
So how about that for a crazy story?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't really like debunk that one. Like, how would a small kid know that? They wouldn't.
I mean, if you wanted to try to debunk it, you could say, well, we don't have any proof that that's really what happened. We're going by what the parents said happened. And I mean, that's the route you would have to go if you want to try to debunk it. But if you believe that the parents are being truthful about what they saw, you know. Yeah. I still think there's a story from India or Pakistan. I can't remember. I think it's India. But there was a story about a little boy who was only like 3 or 4, and he started talking about having a family that was in a town like 20 miles away that he had never been to. And a doctor got wind of it and took him to the town. And it turns out the little boy said that he was killed.
I think I knew that story too.
By an axe. And they went over there and he showed them where the body was buried. There was a body, a skeleton. There was an axe. He had a birthmark on his head where the axe damage had been,
Yep.
and he went out and pointed out who the guy who was that killed him, and the guy confessed to it. That's the one you did you can't
What?
debunk. I don't care what you said,
No.
you can't debunk that one.
Yeah, I that's crazy. Like when I think of reincarnation, like I guess, yeah, like it's like someone else coming back into this life or whatever, but like I do believe in it or whatever, but like what about the so I thought like like maybe a new soul comes in, or do you just hop into that role? I don't understand how that stuff works. Hop into that role like it's a job.
I think what happens is, I think when you die, and I was reading a story the other day that this little boy was talking about what happened when during his reincarnation. He said he just became after he died, he just became little bits of energy like dust that was just scattered everywhere. And then eventually, when it was time to come back to Earth as a baby, it all gathered. And
It
if you listen
sounds
to like,
so magical, doesn't it? Kind of
well, but
like
if you listen to Albert Einstein, he
hmm,
says that energy can never be destroyed. It just goes into something else. And if that's the
right,
case, and your soul is energy, then when you die, what happens to your soul? It's got to go somewhere.
right.
And we've done a bunch of stories where people talk about, we've got reincarnation stories where somebody was like the baby born was actually their grandpa in the prior life. So
Yeah,
they
something
stayed within the
crazy.
family or something. So, and they had so many stories that they just wanted to come back and be a part of it. I obviously had no clue how it works. This guy was 50 some years or something, 45 years after he died, before he came back. So
It's
I don't
crazy.
know.
Like that's crazy.
And I mean, how do you sit back when your energy, how do you know what's going on all around you to say, oh, these people are talking about having a baby? I think that's where I want to go. I mean, it's just the whole concept is beyond what we could even fathom.
Right. It's crazy to really to think about. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, the important thing is there any turkey updates?
No, none. Like I can be on lookout for zombies though now. Told you I
Well,
had
yeah, the
yeah,
zombies
zombie
was better
man.
than the turkey story. I'll give you that.
Well, they couldn't even see it, but I was acting it out. I was showing you what I saw through my lenses. I
Yeah,
was that fucked me
there's
up.
there's certain times where we definitely need video, and that was one of them.
It was so scary. I'm like, this is, and it just bothered, this guy bothered me. I'm like, oh, you the guy that was in the woods? I don't even know because I can't look at you. Like, no, it's just, I don't know. If
It's
I can take a video without like him noticing, which is really creepy, I could show you the movements.
it sounds like you have a lot of weird people that live in the areas that you travel.
Yeah.
You always come up with some kind of a
Listen,
zombie or somebody in the woods or
yeah,
somebody
because
creeping around your house.
yeah, I'm telling you, this is the shit. Listen, I went to my cult meeting yesterday. No, you laugh, but this like 95-year-old guy came over to me and started talking to me about golf shoes. And
That
like
is
out
your
of
area of expertise.
nope, it is not. So he comes over to me and he's like talking to me or whatever, and he's explaining all this stuff to me. And he had so many nose hairs. I have never seen a human with that many nose hairs. I was like, out of all the freaking people in the room, you got to pick me. And he's just talking away, and I don't even know what's going on anymore because I've lost focus. I am
You're
so
such a people person.
I was no, I'm not a people person. People want me to be a people person, and this guy and his nose hairs were sticking out everywhere. I'm like, Jesus fucking a. I'm like, and he's talking to me, and I don't even know what's going on at this point.
It looked
It
like
was a
he was
lot.
holding Rapunzel hostage in his nose.
He did. I was like, what? And he gets up and he like walks away, but he was like telling his story, and he's like, oh yeah, I got hit by a car. I'm like, you're just gonna friggin' graze over that? You're sitting over here with no leg. And that's how you probably go. I'm like, all right. But I'm telling you, the universe works in mysterious ways. I was on Facebook the other day and I was on the marketplace and someone was selling a prosthetic leg. And I accidentally sent the dude a message and I was like, sorry, I didn't mean to send you a message. I am not interested in your prosthetic leg, but thank you. That
Well, I
happened to
mean, you
me.
you could have bought it and given it to that guy.
No, he danced with my Nana. That's what my Nana told me. Back in the day, she danced with him. I guess that's.
Did he have a leg back then?
Yeah, he did. I asked.
Okay.
Then she
I knew you
smacked
wouldn't.
me. She smacked me. She's like, Amanda. I was like, I whispered it. Now you're making it awkward.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps it up for us this week. It's been a blast.
It's been a blast.
And I wish you could see the video of the zombie walk
Oh,
because it was priceless.
it was good. I had it down pat.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 11 of Wickedly Weird with Jerry and Amanda. I'm Jerry, of course.
And I'm Amanda.
Well, that took forever. So
No,
I'm not going to edit it
No,
out too. We're just going to have to make people think that you just don't know when to respond.
No, I did. There was like a cutout. Do you see my eyebrows?
I do see your eyebrows.
Hey, no, just kidding.
I might have to get you to. I've been going on some shows, Amanda, other shows to promote this one. I need to get you to come on with me on some of these.
Oh, you got to tell me when you're coming.
Well, I will. That's what she said.
Nasty.
I'll next time I get something set up, I will let you know, and then we can
plan accordingly.
Yes.
Three-way it. Ew, don't say three-way it. How do I know who the other partaker is?
Well, it'll just be a surprise for everybody.
No,
involved.
I don't want to be surprised. I'm surprised enough every day.
Amanda, this story is definitely going to prove the old adage that you can't judge a book by its cover.
Oh, but can ya?
I've always said that too. If it's a girl going down on a guy, it's porn.
Nope.
You can judge it.
You can't judge it. Careful, I might be surprised, eyebrow.
Have you ever heard of Anatoly Moskvin?
Nope, actually, I have not. Shocking.
You still might know this story though. So Anatoly Moskvin was a very intelligent Russian who spoke 13 different languages. He traveled extensively across all of Europe. He was a published scholar and a college lecturer. But man, did he have a secret.
Was he, oh God, was he like a mass murderer or something fucked up? Probably.
It's too early for you to be asking questions.
No, it's not. It's never too early.
You probably are like on Wheel of Fortune when there's like one letter up. I've solved the puzzle. Wait.
No, I have to wait for I have to wait for the third. I have to wait for the third letter.
One of the things that he was an expert on was local cemeteries. And this would be in the city of, I think it's called Novgorod in Russia.
Oh, it's probably super spooky. Is it a spooky?
Will you stop?
I'm excited. Okay.
I got like 10 pages of shit here and I hadn't even got halfway through.
I'm sorry, I'm excited. I can't contain it. Okay, I'm done. Go ahead.
He claims that between 2005 and 2007, he visited 752 cemeteries.
Whoa.
Am I wrong, or does that sound like a lot of cemeteries for even a big city? I mean, I've never really
kind of a lot.
I've never really thought of how many cemeteries are in a city, but I wouldn't have thought there'd be like 750.
That's a kind of a lot. Yeah, I feel like
that's what I was thinking. Is
that true, or did he fib a little on that one?
No, I don't think that. I don't think so. I think there was probably that many in the city. Now, he was dialed into the history of every one of these cemeteries. Think about that.
He what?
He was dialed in on the history. He knew everything about everyone.
Oh my God, it's like you. Like a mini version of you. You know everything about something.
whatever. Amanda, you're going to love this.
Tell me.
He says that his passion with cemeteries started back in 1979 when
Oh
he, get
God.
this,
Mm.
he was 13. A group of men in black suits stopped him when he was on his way home from school. Okay.
Get out. Okay.
These men were on their way to the funeral of an 11-year-old by the name of
Oh,
Natasha Petrova.
so sad.
Allegedly, they dragged Anatoly into the coffin where they made him kiss the corpse of the young girl.
Ew. Nuh-uh.
That's what he said happened. He said this started his obsession
Yep, I knew it.
with all
This is gonna
things
this is gonna
macabre.
get gross. Okay.
He said he even spent one night sleeping in a coffin before the deceased person's funeral to add to his observations about death.
I think
But
I
at
know the
some
story.
point,
Okay.
how you think you do?
I think
But
is this can I say it?
yeah.
Is it about a like rock band guy who like was huffing dead animals? Was that one? And
No,
like
that
okay.
is that actually took place somewhere else. But I know that story too.
Okay. All right. So it's not that's nasty.
His
Okay.
name was
That's
actually
nasty.
Death, and he ended up committing suicide. But that was like I said, that's
Yeah,
a story all
he
its
was
own.
on one.
That
Blech.
was in Scandinavia, I think
Death.
Norway or Finland. That's where that took place at.
Something. I don't know, but I know I was traumatized.
I'm trying to think of the name of the band. It starts with an M. It's like the Mad Hatters, the Misfortunes,
Love
something.
smelling dead stuff. That's the name of the band.
All right. So he said this sleeping in the casket and stuff kind of put his obsession over the top. So in 2009,
Oh God.
locals began to discover the graves of their loved ones were becoming desecrated, and in some cases, they were completely dug up.
Nope. He was doing things with stuff. Nope.
he was doing things with
With the
stuff.
stuff. He was doing stuff. He was a dirty bleh. That's okay. Let's just
Well, initially, authorities thought that this must be the work of some kind of extremist organizations that were local. So they decided, you know what, we're going to increase police protection in all these areas that had been mostly affected. But after nearly 2 years, they had found nothing, and the graves were still being desecrated. That's when they got their big break. There was a terrorist attack at the Moscow airport in 2011.
Yeah.
Shortly afterwards, some Muslim graves in the area started being vandalized. Now, in these cases, there was somebody was actually painting over the pictures of the dead Muslims like they would be on their headstone, and somebody was painting over the pictures. Now, further investigation led them to a Moskowin, I think that's what they're called, who was caught red-handed at the gravesite. The man was none other than Anatoly Moskvin.
Whoa,
This gets way worse.
Oh, great. Buckling up.
So the police search his house, which was a little small apartment that he shared with his elderly parents. And I'm going to tell you what they found right after this quick sponsor break.
Oh, God. Oh.
All right, Amanda. When the police entered the home, what they found was shocking. The apartment was full of life-size doll-like figures.
Oh, wait. I think I do know this one. Okay.
The figures resemble antique dolls that were dressed in the finest of clothing.
Oh, is this the guy with the doll and it was okay, go ahead. I think I know where this is going.
Now, don't get confused with the case in Florida where the old man had the diabetes victim, the Latino diabetes victim down in Key West that he had stored in his apartment.
That he was
like that
banging,
might be
right?
what you're thinking about, huh?
Was he banging that one?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe it is.
Some of these dolls had on knee-high boots,
Oh,
and they
God.
had cloth covering their faces, but there was makeup drawing the faces on them. The
That's weird.
problem was that these were not dolls.
Nope, they
They
were
were
people.
mummified corpses of human women.
Ugh,
You can actually find some video footage
I
on
don't want to.
YouTube
That's
from
nasty.
the police on this case, where they're going through the house and you can see some of them.
Trigger
It's
warning
freaky
if
to
you're
say
gonna
the
look
least.
at it. Yeah, like why? People are gross. Go ahead.
Police also found pictures and plaques taken from the grave sites, as
What
well as a doll making manual
like how
and
serial
maps of local
killers
cemeteries.
collect
Yes.
like things? Oh, that's so gross. Okay.
There were also personal belongings and clothing inside of the mummies. One even had a piece of her own gravestone with her name written on it.
Wait,
This
inside of her
was,
body cavity?
yes, this was
Oh,
inside of her body. Another one contained a hospital tag with the date and the cause of her death on it. And
wow.
get this, a third corpse and a dried human heart found inside of it.
Why? Like, why is this a thing?
Anatoly eventually admitted that he would stuff the decaying corpses with rags and he would wrap their hands in nylon tights and draw faces on them. He would also insert buttons or fake eyes into the girls' eye sockets.
What the fuck? Why?
Good question. So they could watch cartoons with him.
I knew it. I knew it.
He tells police that he dug up the graves of the girls because he was lonely and he wanted children of his own. And I mean,
Wait. So wait, they were children bodies?
well, we'll get to that part. But yes,
Oh,
in some cases.
that nope. This is disgusting.
I mean, after all, there's more than one way to skin a cat, and I probably would have went with adoption or something like that.
But why?
But
Like, so they were just like his. Okay, great. This is good.
after getting the bodies home, he used a simple solution of salt and baking soda to preserve the corpses. He treated them as if they were his daughters. Again, probably not as interactive as a dog or cat might have been. They probably just played around.
So gross.
But that's what he chose to do. Now, he would sing to them
Oh,
and celebrate their birthdays.
oh, that's great.
Now, he was waiting for science to find a way to bring them back to life. That's why he was keeping them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He did deny any sexual contact to the corpses. He said that never. They were his kids. In all, Amanda, how many dolls / corpses do you think the police found?
This guy's a freak, so I'm gonna go with like 25.
29 life-size dolls.
All
They
right.
ranged in age from 3 years old to
Ugh,
25 years old.
that's so sad.
One of them he had for 9 years.
How does nobody know that something funky's going on? How does someone say, pump the brakes? This guy is weird. Let's go check into this.
His parents had
Yeah.
absolutely no clue of what was going on. They
How?
believed that they were just real dolls and that he just had an obsession, which
That's,
I guess he did, but not the
but
way they
no,
thought.
but like if that was my kid, I'd be like, something's wrong here. What is this? What is this? Gotta call the fuzz on you. This is a problem.
In the end, Anatoly Moskvin was charged with 12 crimes, all of which dealt with desecration of graves. He
Did he
was
go to the poke?
diagnosed with schizophrenia and sentenced to time in a psychiatric
Uh,
hospital.
so he did go to the poke.
Yeah, he told authorities not to bury the bodies too deep, though, because he was going to redig them back up when he got out.
Oh, he's never getting out. Is he still in there? Could you imagine that?
I think he is still in there. But now that was somebody, think about that. That was somebody who was super intelligent.
Yeah, but you know what? I was listening to a story about the Unabomber, and like he was super intelligent too. But like, why can't you use that intelligence for good instead of like, you know, digging up dead bodies and doing weird shit. But the Unabomber also had schizophrenia, I believe. So like
But
it's definitely a case of mental illness, like it's all mental
I don't
illness.
I don't know how far back you went to into the Unabomber, but
Mm.
he actually went to Harvard, but
Yeah.
he was part of some testing or experiments that mentally screwed him up, and
Oh.
that's where his problems came from.
Wait,
It
when he
actually
was
came
like
from
a small
experiments.
kid or something,
No,
right?
he was in Harvard. He was a college student at the time,
And they did all this stuff to him.
and
So
I
like
don't
I didn't
remember what
get
it
deep
was, but
into it.
he partook in some kind of study, and the
Yep.
study was mentally messed up,
The
and that's
lady
what
kept
caused
calling
his
him the
problems.
Unipooper. So that's why I remember it, because she was calling him the Unipooper and not the Unabomber. And I was like,
Yeah, I
the
don't remember the
Unipooper.
exact case on what that was.
Ish.
What is the
That
name
was
of
on
that
Rotten
band?
Mango.
I'm trying to think of the name of
Um,
that band. That's driving me crazy because we did a
I already
complete
forgot
story
about it
on
because it's
him.
fucking gross.
I'm gonna
He
look it up
like
because
took
it'd
dead
be
birds and like tuffed their dead corpses. Like, why?
yeah, and he would uh his name was
Which,
he would the thing about it was he would bury his clothes in the ground and
yes,
stuff like that
he
just
was
to
so
try to
fucked.
uh get close to the smell of what death would be like, and he
Ugh.
would carry around dead birds in like
Yeah,
a bag so he could just smell it and stuff like that.
that's yeah. And he killed himself. I don't know how. It was a shotgun or something,
He
wasn't it?
killed
If I
himself with a
remember.
shotgun, and he left a
Yeah,
note basically stating that he's sorry about the mess. And then the other people in the band made necklaces and stuff out of
yeah.
bones,
They
and they
took
didn't call
his.
the police for like 3 days
Yeah,
after it
yeah.
happened.
They did something with his skull too, didn't they? Do something like really morbid with his skull. They saved it or
Yeah,
something, didn't
they
they?
did something. I just can't remember what it was,
I don't know
but
why I have that information floating in my brain, but I do know I remember listening to it and I was just like, what? Like, it's so sad.
Mayhem.
You
That's the name of the band.
mayhem.
Yep, I knew that was something like that.
People are wild. I think, like, why are you ugh digging up people's kids and stuff? That's so terrible. That's terrible. But like, how do you not smell that decaying,
I don't
fermenting in your
I don't know
house?
how they were able to do that.
Like they didn't walk into his room and go, "Whoa, like you got a bad case of a gym, like gym rot." Like, no,
And the
like
other guy
that.
we were talking about in Key West, his name was Carl Tanzler, and that took place back in like the 1940s. That was before this guy. My guess is this guy probably used some of the same techniques from that
Ugh,
situation.
I just can't. I can't.
But he
And
only
he's a
had one
psych ward.
girl. He only had one girl. She had died of uh, tuberculosis.
Oh,
And
even better. Did he get tuberculosis?
no, but she was like 21 when she died, and he built this giant mausoleum for her. And then he would sneak into the mausoleum, and he eventually took her. He had her at his house for like 7 years before her sister found
I
out.
don't understand how people are not like, oh, look at that corpse in your house. That's
Well,
awesome.
nobody came in his house. He was just a weird guy. But,
Recluse,
you
most of
know,
them.
this was also a guy that had part of a plane in his yard. He was trying to bring the plane back, or yeah, this guy was just
Oh,
weird.
well, you know how you said he was like waiting like to bring these people back from the dead? Did you hear about that aggressive mushroom that like some like a scientist ate it and they had a cure for it, but it can make you a little zombie like if you're not careful. I forget the name of the mushroom. I'll have to find it and then I'll tell you about it because it's really fucked up.
No, I have not heard that one.
Yeah, it's
Is that
like zombie
recent?
mushrooms. Yeah, it's not that old. My husband was telling me about it. He's like, "Did you hear about this?" I'm like, no, it actually happened to someone. A scientist like got a hold of it. Its spores like got into the air or something and it like got into his bloodstream and shit. I don't know. It was fucking wild.
I don't
The
know,
whole
but I
thing
saw a
is.
video earlier today that said in Philadelphia, and I don't know if it's every place, but they specifically mentioned Philadelphia, that there was some kind of drug going around that was turning people basically into zombies.
Not alligator. Is it alligator?
I didn't hear what it was.
Ugh,
I just heard
alligator's
them
nasty.
say some drug is all I heard him say. So
Oh, great. Zombie apocalypse will be upon us soon. What else is next?
I don't think these kind of zombies you got to worry about. I think
Might
most of these
me
are just
over,
laying
you
around.
smiter. Yeah.
I don't think they could catch you if you walked at a steady pace.
No, they like go like this when they walk. I know there's a chick at my Dunkin' Donuts that like handles coffee, and she's always like this, and she's always like humming and buzzing, and I'm like, what is happening? I don't even know
Yeah,
what her real name is. Something's wrong.
yeah. Some of these people, you know, it's funny because like where I live, I'm about 5 minutes away from a bus stop, and where this bus stop is, there are a bunch of people that obviously are strung out.
Yeah,
And
it's so
I
sad.
mean, you don't have to know anything to be able to see it. Oh,
Yeah.
you can look over and just pick them out. That person, that person, that person.
Oh yeah,
You know,
because of how they
again, not
look and act, and yeah,
yeah. We
it's
started off talking
horrible
about you can't judge a book by its cover, but you know, you can
with some of
almost
that.
spot
Yeah,
one of these addicts.
I live down the street from like a sober house. It's like probably like a good 12, 15 minutes away, but like in the summertime they come out and they come around this like local common area, and you can tell like who's on drugs and who's, alcohol. Like you can see it all. And what kills me is this halfway house is across the street from a liquor store. And I'm like,
It's not
like
tempting at all.
no, like I have this severe drinking problem or drug problem, and right there, it's just I don't know. Like I think they plan on moving him out of there, which they should have years ago. But still, like how horrible is that? You're trying to get sober, and it's like
No,
open.
it's like putting a Weight Watchers right next to a McDonald's or something.
Yeah, like you can't do that. It's horrible. But yeah, addiction is terrible. It's really sad.
It is. Do we have any turkey updates?
I got nothing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's been put in his pen or what, but there's a rooster that does crow every day until 8 a.m. But the turkey, like I told you, was terrorizing last week, and I think he got in trouble. I told you. The lady that like owns him walks him across the street. She stops traffic and walks his ass over to the street, and he doesn't attack her. It's like his mama.
Interesting.
I
was gonna
I don't
say,
know.
I had a cool story. Man, I've got so many good stories lined up for the
Actually,
coming
wait, I
weeks.
have a creep. I have a creep. I have a creep.
Okay,
Okay.
there we go. That's what I was looking for.
Do you remember how I told you there was some weirdo guy like in my like driveway vicinity thing? Remember that story I
Yes,
told you? Okay.
yes.
Well, update on that mofo. Listen, so I'm walking my dog. He doesn't see me. He comes through this little, I'll have to show you the video. Well, not of him. I take a video of him at the time, but he comes out of this like woods portal, as I like to call it. And he was casing my neighbor's house. I watched him. He didn't see me watching him, and I don't know how, because I was like dead walked staring at him. Me and my dog just staring at him. I'm like, shit, I'm the bark. And we're over there and I'm watching him, and he's casing the house. I'm like, oh, really? And he went back into his little hole, and I saw the neighbor, and I was like, hey, like, do you know, and I described the guy, and he's like, oh no, but my house is like locked up. I have an alarm system, blah, blah, blah. Now my car got broken into at the beginning of the year, and I think I know who the culprit is. So now, like a psychopath, I sit on my porch and I wait and I watch and I wait and I watch, because next time I'm going to be like, hey, I see you, sir. And everyone knows about it. All two
Everybody
people
knows
that
that you
listen to
saw
us.
him, or
No, everyone knows that he was casing the house. I saw it. Now everyone and all the listeners know that he was looking for a robbery. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. Dan from the woods can go back home.
well, that
What were
was
you looking
a
at on your
lovely
phone?
story, huh?
What were you looking at on your phone?
I was going to tell a story, but you had a story instead. So
No, but my story is probably not as good as yours. Go. You have 10 minutes
no,
still.
well, I'll put it down now. I was just trying to tag something on the end, but you had something now.
Yeah, because I'm going to keep you guys updated on the Keeper of the Woods. I walked back there too. There's nothing back there.
I will tell you, I'll tell you a little story I looked at. I've been looking up these episodes of people who died like crazy kind of deaths.
Oh yeah, those are wild.
because I'm doing a future episode on Hillbilly Horror Stories, like a bonus episode on that for this
Yeah.
Friday. This one story is too short, so I'm not going to use it. But this elderly couple, and I think this was, I want to say this was up north, maybe even your neck of the woods.
My neck
But
of the woods,
this
baby.
elderly couple, it was Easter time, and for years, I guess the woman's mother had passed away, and they went to her
Mm,
grave and at the cemetery every Easter, and they would decorate it for Easter, and I guess it was a cross, and they would put a rosary or a cross or something of that nature around the cross part of the headstone, and they would leave it, and that was their little thing that they would do every year at Easter.
right.
Well, they go in, and I guess the husband reaches over to put the cross on it, and the headstone fell over. This thing apparently was massive. It fell over and crushed and killed him.
Get out of here. What?
He was then
What?
buried like a couple of spots over from where he actually died.
Oh my God. Like, that is such a freak accident. Or do you think it was pushed?
I doubt the grandma was pushing him.
No,
But no,
it's not
that's, I
fun.
mean,
But
that's
still.
just, like I said, it was a short one, so I wasn't going to use it, but that's crazy.
That's wild. When it's your time to go, it's your time to go. So they say.
That's what they say.
Is it our
I
time
don't
to
know
go?
who is they,
I don't
by the
know.
way.
I don't know. They could be whoever you want them to be. Fuck, I don't know.
I need you to come with the facts on this show.
How do I what?
I said, I need you to come with the facts.
That's what they say. I don't know. It's like, oh, can't put a good dog down. That's what they say. Like, who is they? I don't know.
I don't even think that's what anybody says. I don't think that's a phrase.
I
Can't
think
put
sometimes
like you can't keep a good dog
you
down.
can't put it, whatever. You know what I meant.
Now, the Humane Society puts good dogs down all the time. So
No,
that's not the case.
stick burn on the NSPCA.
All right. We're out of here.
All
We
right.
appreciate you guys listening, and we'll talk to
Stopping on
you in
by
a
and
couple
listening
weeks.
to us ramble. All right. Goodbye.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 7 of Wickedly Weird. I'm Jerry.
I'm Amanda.
So, Amanda, we obviously talked a little bit about the triangle up in your neck of the woods last week.
Yes, we did.
And I'm doing a story this week. I was going to do something from the triangle, but instead, I moved out a little bit, but I'm still in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, yes.
This story is somewhat your neck of the woods. It's about 2.5 hours away from you.
Yep.
This incident happened Labor Day weekend, September 1st, 1969. And there was about 40 people in Berkshire County. How do you pronounce it up there? Is it Berkshire or Berkshire? Because I know different places.
The Berkshires. I call them the Berkshires. So, like, I'm sure
okay.
if you say them correctly, it's probably, I don't know, Berkshires. I don't know.
Well, it's like in England, it would be Berkshire.
Berkshire.
And I would probably call it Berkshire, just seeing it, but I'm not from that area. So,
you should see the crazy signs when you're on that Massachusetts highway.
I also say Louisville when everybody else says Louisville. So it's it's all about where you're at that time.
Louisville. I don't know.
And so Berkshire County, that's what it's going to be today.
Okay.
40 people reported seeing a UFO. But even more important, Thomas Reed, he said that his entire family was abducted.
Okay, I've never heard this one.
There's actually a really good episode. Have you watched any of the new reboot of Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix?
I've only watched season one.
On season 3, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a whole episode dedicated to this. It's really good.
Okay.
So something to be able to check out
To take a
once you've heard the
sneak
story.
peek. Okay. Okay.
All right. So as you can imagine, the area was in a panic with so many people seeing what they believed to be a UFO.
Mm-hmm.
This captured people from not just the area, but all over. I said captured. I guess captivated would have been the word.
Captivated.
It
They were
didn't capture.
captivated
It only
by this
captured. It
UFO.
only captured the family.
They captured the family, but it's
but
capturing the hearts of Americans everywhere. Here we go.
right. But this captivated people from all over the entire country. So
Damn.
what exactly was being reported that night? Well, strange lights descended on the town of Sheffield. Most who saw the lights said it was attached to a UFO. So it wasn't just random floating lights or stars or something like that.
It was
It was
one
attached.
singular light. Is it a singular light
No,
or
it was
many?
it was a bunch of lights. According to witnesses, the UFO was disc-shaped and it performed acrobatic maneuvers in the sky above the Berkshires, which is, in case people aren't from the area, the Berkshires are kind of a rural region and
Ritzy,
in the
you got
mountains of
money.
western
Yep.
Massachusetts.
Yep, I've been through there. Yeah, it's very nice. I went back to my hut after I looked at all the beautiful homes. Like it's so pretty. So nice out there.
It sounds like a place that would be expensive.
Like
it sounds
yeah,
like the Hamptons, the
yeah,
Berkshires.
the Hamptons, the Berkshires, and you've got Deluxeberry, which is multi-million-dollar homes.
So it's unclear how long this incident actually lasted, especially because many of the witnesses described losing track of time. This seemingly brief UFO encounter was powerful enough to leave a sense of mass confusion in its wake, though. School kids were actually drawing UFOs in class, while adults called into the local radio station to explain what they had seen. Now, David Isy, I think is his name, Isy.
I see the way you say it sounds nice.
This is true. It could be Issy, though. He was the general manager of WSBS Radio. He said that they had listeners calling the radio station all night talking about what they had seen. Now, at the time, they didn't know it was a UFO. They just called the station to basically say, hey, there's something really bizarre happening in our area. Many who saw the, we're going to say the aircraft or strangely lit craft, I guess we should say, since there was lights attached to it, they were shocked. Nobody seemed to know exactly what they were looking at, but they did know that it didn't move like a plane or a helicopter. The incident is widely known as the 1969 Berkshire UFO, or in some cases, the Berkshire UFO incident. Some of the 40 people who witnessed the UFO were children, and they're still alive and still live in the area today.
Let's get them on the show.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'll put you in charge. I'll put you in charge of the research. See if we can find them. One of these kids who still lives there was the son of the town police chief. There were so many witnesses coming forward that the Barrington Historical Society recognizes the encounter as the first off-world UFO case in U.S. history. But the question is, Amanda, was this an actual UFO?
Well, did they have satellites back then?
Well, sure they did.
Maybe it was a satellite gone rogue. Maybe the people or the creatures from the Bridgewater Triangle said, not today, and let's go scare the rich people.
So is that area in the Bridgewater Triangle? I mean, it's not, is it? Yeah.
No.
It's, yeah.
I'm shaking my head no, like they can see. No. No. Way far. It's like 2-3 hours away, probably.
Well, whether you believe it or not, it was a remarkable event for the people of Sheffield, especially Thomas Reed. And I'm going to tell you what happened to him and his family right after the sponsor break. All right. So, according to Reed, he saw the UFO when he was 9 years old. He was in a car with his mother, his grandmother, and his brother. The family was coming home from a restaurant that they owned by the name of Village on the Green. That sounds like a good place to eat.
It does sound like a good place to eat.
It's probably on a golf course with a name
Mm.
like Village on the Green.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, because it's right on the green.
Reed was given his brother a piece of candy, a fireball piece of candy, if you want to be specific. That's the way I like to be specific on
Are
this.
we like foreshadowing? Is something gonna involve
No, it has absolutely nothing to do with it.
Oh man.
They noticed a mass of glowing lights peeking out from behind the trees on this otherwise empty road.
Wait, pause. Peeking like over the treetops or like
No, I think you know how when you're going and you've got trees and you can kind of see
yeah.
glimpses of stuff through the trees as you pass by.
So do you know it'd be hilarious if it literally was peeking around the trees like a cartoon?
It would be funny. So the family was amazed at the lights as they crossed the covered Sheffield Bridge. The family described it as a self-contained glow. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but
like a night light.
Self-contained. Well, it rose up a little bit and it seemed to follow the dirt road. Now, Reed says he's probably sure it didn't follow the road, but it appeared to do that.
Like the moon follows you when you're a kid. Yeah.
Right. Now, as they got closer, the light from this UFO flooded the entire car. They said it was almost as like it was daylight, even though it was in the middle of the night. That's when it happened. Reed said that an amber glow emerged on both sides of the road. The next thing he knew, the car with all of their family members was being transported to a hangar-like area that was bigger than a football field.
Get out of town.
I don't know why this guy would lie to me. He's never lied to me before.
Or me. So, I mean, hey.
Reed said that they encountered something that was definitely not of this world. There were lights that looked like fluorescent tubing inside the hangar with multiple lights. And he said they had a black and white TV at the time, so he wasn't aware of colors even possibly being like this in anything he'd ever seen until he was in this hangar type situation. He said they saw a hallway that was sort of a circular hallway. It was rounded, but it had a Y configuration, almost like it was there to control traffic. One room had literally a round wall. He said it was kind of bowed out. The wall was bowed out, which made it rounded. And that was not something you'd have seen architecturally anywhere else in 1969.
And this is how he describes it?
Yes. Reed had no idea where he was, but he does know that it was very different than what he has seen today anywhere in 54 years. So whatever he saw then, he's seen nothing like it since. Next thing he knows, they're back in the car. But now his mother and grandmother have switched seats.
I forgot how they came in.
It's just like snap a finger, they're back in the car, but now mother and grandma are in different seats. Even more surprising, there was no more glowing light. It's like all that just instantly stopped.
It only lasted for, did he say how long it lasts for?
They don't know. He has no idea how long it lasted. Most people who saw this have no idea how long it lasted because they all talk about losing time.
Oh, the time, yeah. Do they all have a similar story?
They're the only ones that said they got abducted.
Okay.
So they get really kind of, he says that everything kind of really got calm. It's like everything went from 1,000 things going on at one time to just boom, everything's calm. He said it was like being in the middle of a hurricane. There was like a barometric change in the pressure of the car, and then just dead silence. Even he said there was an area there where they were at to where you couldn't hear anything, no birds, no animals, nothing. And then all of a sudden, just like the snap of a finger, there was an eruption of the sound of crickets and frogs. He said it got really loud, and then that was it.
That's so
it was
freaky.
all quite confusing, according to him. Now, Reed has actually been the most vocal out of all the witnesses who saw this thing. He actually helped to convince the other witnesses to pull their money together to erect a 5,000-pound concrete monument right by the covered bridge where his family saw the UFO. After the erection of this monument, benches and lighting and a bunch of other stuff was added to make it a little more attractive.
Right.
This thing was huge. Think of how much. I mean, I say huge, but like it was probably 4 or 5 feet tall and then 3 or 4 feet wide. But it was 5,000 pounds of concrete.
Oh.
It was solid.
Yeah.
Now, although the town of Sheffield initially embraced this whole Berkshire UFO thing, the novelty of the story has kind of worn off over the years, and some of the residents in recent years just don't even like it. They just don't want to be associated with it at all. Disagreements between those who believe the UFO monument marked a significant event and those who think it actually is more of a joke on the history of the city. They have arguments about the monument. The people who don't agree with it being there think that it's an eyesore, and people started to get aggravated about it being there. So much so that in 2019, about 4 years after it was erected, the town removed the monument. The town's attorney claimed that the monument had been erected on town property and it should be removed because it should have never been put there to begin with. Reed, though, he says that there was no issue with town officials during the plans to build the monument, but officials in town say different. They say that none of the people there that could have made that decision ever agreed with them putting the monument there on the property.
So where's the monument now? Is it like in his backyard?
I have no idea where it's at. I think they actually might have, they said they hauled it off, but they might have busted it up. I don't know. It'd be hard to just haul something 5,000 pounds away.
Like, could you imagine if it was like on his front lawn? It's like a big middle finger. Yeah.
They said that the town has bylaws, and if they allowed you to place something on town property like that, then anybody could just do it. And then where does it stop? Which makes sense.
Like Peaktopia from Family Guy.
All right. It was determined that the monument was actually placed in the right of way, and it had to be removed because it was a safety hazard. I don't know.
They should have just left it alone. Like, oh, it's a statue. Like, give it up.
I've actually seen where it was. It actually shouldn't have been an issue at all.
So they're just being dinks.
Yeah, and to add insult to injury, other parties actually withdrew their support for the monument. And in 2019, the town hauled away the monument. Despite all the legal drama, the 1969 Berkshire UFO site actually continues to fascinate UFO enthusiasts all over the world. And there's, like I said, there's an entire episode on the new, what I say it was?
Oh my God.
Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah, Unsolved Mysteries. I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, it's actually a really good episode. That's the first time I actually had heard about it.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one. Like, I don't know. Do you believe it?
Yeah, if 40 people saw it.
Yeah, but like the way he describes it, what little kid would describe something like that?
Well, I don't know about the abduction part of it, but I do think that something happened there.
Yeah.
And with people saying that it had this crazy movement, now, 1969, is it out of the realm of possibility that could be an experimental aircraft for the government? was using? No, I mean, it very well could have been, and they're never going to
Yeah.
admit to it.
No. That's wicked weird.
Wickedly weird, but yeah.
Yeah, it's wickedly weird. Yeah, it's wickedly weird.
So I gave you some homework. Is there any chance at all that you actually did it?
Yeah, listen, have a little faith. I am not that bad. All right, let's talk about it. So I thought, once you said Berkshires, I guess my brain didn't, because we were going to do the Bermuda Triangle and blah, 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 but we didn't.
We're
So
not going to do the Bermuda Triangle.
I'm
That is
sorry, the
that is
Bridgewater
not where you
Triangle.
live.
Well, did you hear about the Bermuda Triangle and what they think it is?
No, I
You
mean, is
hear
it
about that?
something new?
Yeah, it's like recently new. Scientists like have discovered that it's actually not like a spooky ooh, it's that these waves that are so humongous come and
Oh,
they
I've seen. Yeah,
yeah.
I've seen that.
So it kind of like made me a little sad to hear that because I really wanted it to be super
But just
scary.
because they say that's what it is doesn't mean that's all still theory.
Mm, I know, but it just makes it not fun anymore. All right, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So it's not in the Freetown Woods, but it's about a hitchhiker, and he's on a stretch of Route 44. Route 44 is like a big long the auto mile Route 44. So not that you know any of this, but there's Seekonk and Rehoboth line, which is like those are both like Dighton's probably like 20 minutes and Rehoboth's probably like 25-30 minutes from where I live. I have driven down this stretch of road and have not had this experience, but never say never.
And those are towns or cities that you just named off,
They're
right?
towns,
Okay.
like the town of
Okay.
Seekonk, town. So it's a hitchhiking ghost. I know, trope. Well, yeah, right. But it is. So it's a redheaded hitchhiker, and he walks up and down the road, supposedly. And if you pick him up, he'll sit silently in the back of your car, um, probably about a half a mile, and he gets out. Some people have just had that experience where it's really awkward. They pick him up. I don't know why you'd pick anyone up now, but they pick him up.
Is this
And
possibly Danny Bonaducci who just wants to get some attention because
no,
he's not getting it?
it's not. It's not him.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So anyway, so yeah, he goes up and down, and so there's been instances where people have picked him up and like he like will maniacally laugh in the back seat, and he doesn't have a name. He's just the redheaded hitchhiker. They don't know where he's from or what happened. They don't have any evidence of an accident. I mean, if anyone out there knows, but so there've been instances where you pick him up and like he'll maniacally laugh and he'll come through the like stereo of your car, that sort of thing. There are times when like he does it so much and it's creepy, they kick him out of the car, and he's been known to float next to the driver's side window. And it's been going on for more than 40 years. Everyone has had a similar experience. So is it real? I don't know. Am I gonna find out? I mean, never say never. I ate a honeycomb, so I'm full of
This is true.
surprise.
This
I'm
is
full of
true.
surprises. Um,
And a bee leg.
oh yeah, the bee that flew up my trousers.
No, you said when you ate the honeycomb there was like
Oh,
a
like a
insect
bee
leg.
leg. Oh yeah, well I did have a bee fly up my trousers a couple weeks
Okay,
ago.
now I got to hear this story.
Okay, so I'm driving, picture it. I'm driving and I'm like, what the hell? And like I'm driving, but I can feel something like crawling, right? And I'm like, what the hell? Like, what is this? But I'm like trying to drive. I don't want to die. So I'm like, just ignore it, just ignore it. And it's crawling, okay? Like there are things happening.
Yeah, the bee is
And
trying to find the V.
no, he's not. He's trying to escape out of my leg hole, you freak.
Oh, he's
So
going the opposite direction.
he's
Okay.
like, get out of here. So we get out and I like shake my leg out, and out comes this bee nonchalantly at that. He just, I looked at my mother. I'm like, it looked at me. She's like, did it sting you? I'm like, no, but I was all wigged out because I've never been stung by a bee ever. Like my whole existence, I've never been stung by any bees, but not.
That's kind of incredible.
Is it? Yeah, because you know why? This is what I say. You look from a window or you look like pretty far away from where bees could maybe get you. I'm all about, all four on the floor. Like, no, I don't do anything with heights. I don't go hiking. No, not for me. Absolutely not. I mean, like I've had poison ivy once in my whole life. Like, absolutely not.
I've only had poison ivy once, and I
I've
go in the
never
woods
had
all the time.
I've never had poison oak. Yeah, but there was a close call the other day where I could have been stung. But anyways, it didn't happen. And it was really scary. And I'm driving. My son's laughing. He thinks it's hysterical. I'm like, what? Like, it's not. I was freaking. I was so freaked out by the whole incident. And it was fine. But I get chewed up by mosquitoes like you wouldn't believe. I could just be
Yeah, same here.
minding my own beeswax and see what I did there. And
So let me now that we've brought this up, because I was having this discussion the other day. Sometimes, more than one occasion in my life, I've had a mosquito bite somewhere intimate.
On your wiener?
Maybe. Or maybe maybe accompanying sack.
Oh, like the ruffles? Like the, what do you call that?
Yes.
Yeah, like the little ruffle part, like the bunghole part, like the taint.
Not the taint, the sack. The taint and the
Right on
sack
your
are
little
different.
on your
But
little
my
sack
point
ball.
is, how in the world does a mosquito bite you in a place that's completely covered up?
Because
It's
they
not
get
like
in.
I'm running around in the woods naked.
Because they crawl in the crevices, man. I've been bitten like through my jeans. Okay, I had jeans on like a couple weeks ago and got
I
bit
don't
by.
think that's possible.
No, I have the FU. I have it right on my knee. I do.
Right. So maybe it went up through your pant leg, just like the bee.
That's true. That is true. Yes. Yes. That's definitely something that probably could have happened. However,
Well, then take it back that you did not get bitten through your legs, through your
there
pants
are some
by a mosquito.
mosquitoes that we call Van Diesel around here. Okay. Yeah. You know, they're really bad. And I've also never been bitten by a tick either. Like,
I don't think I've had a tick. I've seen ticks on dogs and stuff, and I pulled them off, and I pulled them off other people. But I
you're
don't
not
think
supposed
I've
to
ever
do
had
that.
one.
You're not supposed to do that. You got to use tweezers because
Right.
when
Well,
you squeeze them,
I didn't say that I didn't use tweezers. I
well, you
just
strike
said
me
that
as someone that might just get in there and pull it right out.
you made an assumption.
Well, you look like you might do that. You
No,
got nothing.
no, I'm just saying I would always use tweezers, and you pull it from
Well,
the
I
head.
learned a
Yes.
fun fact. Okay. Do you want to know what I learned?
What?
When you squeeze them and you shove them, like when you put like Vaseline on them and stuff, they throw up inside the already like open wound. And that's how like infections and stuff happen. I mean, not Lyme disease is happening, but yeah, supposedly like if you pull, like you're squeezing on their bellies, they vomit into the open cut. I was just listening to it. Some dermatologist was like, "Don't do these things," and I'm like, "Oh God, I've done those things to other people." Like,
I can remember like when I was little, my mom saying something like, "You have to burn it out with a
no,
cigarette."
you're not supposed
I'm
to do
like,
that either because
I'm like, I'm like, that's not going to happen.
Burn you with a match.
Yeah, well, she's talking about you burn the tick itself, like you burn it. I guess it lets go, or I don't know what you thought. I don't think that's how it works, though.
I don't think that's definitely not how. Come here.
I learned I learned a lot of stuff in my later years that I was told as a kid that was definitely not the right way to do stuff.
No, it's absolutely
Like peeing on athletes' feet. If you got athlete's foot, if you
no, peeing on jellyfish stings. Is that real?
I don't know if that's real or not. I've heard that same thing, but I don't know if I don't know how it could be. How could urine possibly be a way to fight any kind of infection or help anything?
I don't know, but we got homework
It's
for the audience
waste.
out there. It's a
Yeah.
biohazard, right?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Ugh.
I know you can drink your own pee if you
Nope.
have to, like if you're in a desert or something.
There are people that do that just for fun, you know.
There are people that do that swear that if you do it X amount of times a week, that it's good for your health, and that's not the case. I did a deep dive on that a while back.
That's nasty. Like what?
Not that I was going to do it, but I heard it and I was like,
think you were.
that can't be true.
You're a gentleman. You don't drink your own pee.
Yeah. But there are people that swear that that's good for you to drink your own pee to.
No, that's horrible. There's some lady on My Strange Addiction that was like collecting piss and drinking it. Like, why? I think it was My Strange Addiction. I don't remember.
I think most of the addictions on My Strange Addictions have to be made up. Because I don't see how, like one of the guys or I can't remember if it was a guy or a girl, but they were eating like the couch cushions, like the foam inside couch cushions. And I'm like, first of all, why do you do that the first time? Let alone how do you get addicted to it?
Like, what part of that sounds good? Let me have a sofa sandwich. Like, you're not like, what do you? Or the dude that ate glass. That was one that I'll never like. ever
As
forget.
much shit as I've spilled on my couch, my cushion would probably at least have some flavor to it. But
Blech, blech, no, telling you.
yeah, there was one girl. What was it? She was addicted to. I think it was Fabuloso. So she had, or it was something. It was some kind of cleaner.
Ew.
And no, you know what it was? It was Pine Sol.
Oh
She
my
is Pine Sol,
Lanta.
and she had to be smelling it all the time. So she would carry around rags that she would spray it on and then sniff it, or she was
Puff it?
constantly yeah. Well, she would carry like a spray bottle, and just so she's walking around the house, she would just constantly be spraying it in front of her as she walked. It's like this stuff is dangerous to smell like that. It's just look, I got certain things that I like the smell of, not to that level.
I'm not
Not
gonna,
to that level.
no, that you're gonna, no. See, and that's what I mean. Don't get
It
addicted
didn't.
to weird
There
things.
was one guy on there who eats plastic bags, like the Walmart bags and Kroger bags.
Get out of here.
He'd go and just load up on the bags and he would eat them. He'd tear them apart and just eat them. I'm like,
Honey,
what
going
the
to
hell?
Stop and Shop, gonna get me some brown paper bag.
I mean, I guess if you're gonna have a habit, at least that's a cheap one to have. But
Well, they're like $1, I think, now or something. I don't even know.
I don't know. So anyway,
Well,
this was a fun episode. You
it
actually
really
did your
was.
homework. I was surprised, although I did remind you a couple of days ago, and I don't know had I not reminded you that if that would have happened.
Probably not. Probably not. I've been having a hell of a time. I've been having a good time. I've been going out, doing fireworks, living my best life.
So
And
everybody still got all your other fingers and stuff in your
we don't
family?
light fireworks off here. No, no.
Just
I
oh,
just go
that's
to
right.
the
Half that
shows.
stuff's illegal at your
Yeah,
place.
you can't do it. I mean, there were people doing it in my neighborhood, and a cop made their rounds, and they all stopped. But someone's got to be a buzzkill, you know?
Yeah, is what it is.
It is.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys, and we're out of here.
We're out of here. Bye.